right, readers? So I want to talk about some famous athletes. So there are some famous athletes like LeBron James. Anybody heard of him?
Yes.
Derek Jeter. Anybody heard of him? Hands down, class.
Yes. Yes.
They did not just become, that was kind of lame, class.
Yes.
That's better. Those athletes did not become who they are today overnight. Thank you, those of you tracking the speaker. I love that. You're showing me your listening faces. So they didn't become like that overnight. They practiced their craft over and over and over. Earlier in the year, we watched a video of Michael Phelps, and we said the same thing about him. He studied tapes. He had a coach. He was practicing. He was setting goals for himself. He had teammates that helped. But most importantly, the athletes helped themselves. So they did this by kind of spying on themselves, looking at the work they did well, thinking about the work that they need to do more on to improve. So they were taking a close look at themselves to see what they could do better. So today I want to teach you that readers set clear goals for themselves. One way they do this is by studying their own work and by asking themselves, how can I develop even stronger ideas about my character? Because that's what we've been working on in class, getting to know our characters. So what goals can I set that will help me read even better? So some of the strategies we've used so far for getting to know a character, and this is what you glued into your notebooks just a moment ago, but we've noticed how the character talked and acted. We've studied observations about our characters to try to grow an idea, just like the seeds we have growing over there on the window, which we're going to have to transplant pretty soon. We've noticed patterns in the characters' behaviors, the things that they're doing over and over and over again. We've asked ourselves why, to dig deeper. Why might the character be this way? Why is Opal big-hearted? Why is she getting so close with Winn-Dixie? And then we notice patterns and behaviors and wants, and we use them to predict what our character might do in the future. So in my notebook, I had predicted that maybe Opal is going to make sure Winn-Dixie is with her wherever she goes. Because when we asked why the character is like this, we said maybe she's lonely, and we don't want anybody else to feel lonely like her. But so that's some of the work that we have done so far, but I want to set some goals for myself. And I'm going to use this. We're all going to take a look at this. I'm going to pull people to the table in a little bit. But we're going to set some goals for ourselves. So what we've been working on is it's called Inferring About Characters and Other Story Elements, Character Traits. So we've really been talking about characters, haven't we? What is the character doing? What have we learned about the character? How have we gotten to know about the character? So we're going to look at two different sections. We've got a section 1, inferring about the character, or like a level 1 inferring about the character, and a section 2, or a level 2 inferring about the character. And we're going to see, our goal is to be level 2. We're going to see if we can place the work in my notebook and set a goal for me. So far, let me zoom in so we can see a little bit better. So far, at level 1, section 1, what you need to be able to do is I notice big things that a character says, does, and thinks. And I think about what this might show about a character's feelings. And then I think about whether the main character meets with a problem, and if so, how the character solves it. And those are some things we've definitely talked about in class. To get to a section 2, inferring about characters and other story elements, what we need to do is develop ideas or theories about the kind of person the character is. I know this means talking about a character's traits or personality, and I'm careful not to confuse the way a character feels for a trait. When a character makes a decision and does something, I can usually figure out why, based on what I know of the character and what happened earlier. So let's take a look at some of the work I've done in my notebook so far. And we're going to see if we can find where I belong in this section 1 or section 2. So, noticing what a character says or does. The character lied about owning a dog. The dog was destructive. The character took the dog. So this was chapter 1. This makes me think the character is brave. Okay. Opal is talking to the dog, saying the dog needs her. She's fighting for the dog. So then we said she has love for the dog. She's a loving or caring person. Over here, we went on talking about character patterns and big ideas. All we wrote here was big-hearted. So I'm not sure why we wrote big-hearted. I don't really have any evidence there. On 10-4, we said Opal was left by her mom, has her feeling lonely. Opal thinks Winn-Dixie is also lonely, doesn't want him to feel that way. And then we made a prediction. We said, I predict Opal will have Winn-Dixie follow her everywhere. So now we've gone back to the work that I've done here. And I want to see if I can figure out how I'm doing and then set a goal for myself. So I'm going to use this kind of like a checklist. So I notice big things that a character says, does, and thinks. In my work in my notebook, have I noticed, please see if you can pick out something that I noticed about the character saying, doing, or thinking. Turn and talk. Have I done that? Saying, doing, or thinking. Turn and talk. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Class.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to just hear from two people. What is something the character has said, done, or thought that I picked out? I see 1, 2, 3, 4 hands up. I am looking for some risk takers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hands up, 6 hands up, 7 hands up. Awesome. Asia, what is something I picked out the character said, does, or thinks? The character lied about the dog. That's something that she did, something that she said. Let's move on to over here. Let's keep going. So check, I did that. Something she did. I think about what this might show about a character's feeling. Do I have anything? Yeah, I did, but I moved on. That's okay. Do I have anything about what the character is feeling? What she personally is feeling? Turn and talk. Do I have anything about how my character is feeling? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Class.
Yes, yes.
Class.
Yes.
Where are we? Class.
Yes, yes.
There they are. Do I have anything in here about what the character is feeling based on some of those things I pointed out? We were looking at this response here. What do I have? Cadence? She was feeling lonely. I did say that over here. I did say that she's feeling lonely. So that's awesome that we've used our observations to pick out that feeling. So check. I think about whether the main character meets with the problem, and if so, how the character solves it. Have I talked about a problem and a solution in any of these observations that I have? Dick, turn and talk. What can you see? I'm sorry, I'm flipping through a bunch of pages here. What do I have here? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Class.
Yes, yes.
Class.
Yes, yes.
Let me get some new hands up. I hope I don't have to wait because I do want to stop this carpet. There are some more hands. I see one. Aaron, what do you think? Did I really talk about problems and solutions? What did you find? Say that again. Yeah, so I actually want to go off of that because I'm thinking, so far what I'm noticing in my text is what I'm doing really well is I'm finding observations and feelings really well, but I haven't really talked about how my character is responding to problems. Aaron's telling me that there are problems in the story when Dixie keeps running away. But have I talked at all about how my character is responding to that problem? Yeah. Have I written that down, like when Dixie ran away, so Opal did this? No. Have I noticed the problems and solutions at all?
Yeah. No.
I haven't. But is that okay for now at the beginning of the unit? Yeah, I'm going to set a goal for myself because I'm noticing a lot about my character. So I'm going to set a goal, and this is something you don't have to do while you're reading. You're going to do it with me in a group. And I'm almost there. I'm going to go a tiny bit over, but I'm going to get you off of here super soon. I'm going to set a goal for myself. I'm going to set the goal that I need to use my observations to talk about how my character responds to problems. Because I know I can't move on to be a Section 2 reader over here and hit any of these skills if I haven't mastered all these things in Section 1. So I know my glow, the things I'm doing really well, is I'm noticing a lot about my character, and I notice a lot about what the character's feeling. But what I'm not really doing too well is, I made a prediction about what she might do, but I haven't talked at all about how she's actually responding to problems. So we're going to set some goals today in a small group, but what I want you to do while you're reading, you don't need to write a response today, a new one, but what you can do is continue working on, and what I'd like you to do is continue working on any of these getting to know a character observations. So if you'd like to add to your notes that you have so far, go ahead and do that. I know it's hard when we're not all reading the same book at the same time, but see if you can notice things maybe about new characters or about characters that you're currently reading. And I see like 4 people who have not broken their listening pace this whole time. Thank you so much for that. I'm actually going to have Dominic and Anna come see me real quick to get a Roar ticket before you go, because I do notice the 2 of you focusing this whole time. So you're going to go read for 50 minutes today before we clean up for some cupcakes. We're going to count 1, 2, 3. I hope you notice a lot about your characters today. Class?